Okay, good evening to one and all. Kindly give me a confirmation if you guys can hear me. Yes or no. Good evening to one and all. Kindly give me a confirmation if you guys can hear me. Yes or no. Come on. Come on, guys. Can you guys hear me? Yes or no? Awesome. So, welcome to this boot camp. Welcome to day one for this boot camp where you guys will going to learn something new, right? And before that, happy Independence Day to all Indians. Okay. And from today, we are going to start a new boot camp that is going to focus on the machine learning. That will going to focus on Python, but moreover, it will going to focus on how to do the deployment of a machine learning model. Right? Are you guys excited? Are you guys excited? Yes or no? Kindly tell me, please. Happy Independence to all of you. Perfect. Okay, cool. So, guys, this topic is really amazing. It will going to be really interesting because this is something that you can put on your resume, okay? And it will going to act as a major project, okay? It will not going to act as a minor project or any kind of like little project and so on and so forth. It will going to act as a major project. You can write on your resume that you know the deployment, okay? So deployment plays a very vital role. It's a major part of the entire software cycle. Okay, if you have worked on SDLC, if you know what is SDLC, right? Software development life cycle. So deployment plays a very impactful role, right? But before going on, we are not going to start the session right away. There are some rules. Okay, you guys have to follow some rules. Okay, then only it will be very interesting for us to understand how we are going to learn different things. Are you guys gonna follow the rules? Yes or no? Come on, tell me. Are you guys gonna follow the rules? Yes or no? Come on. Okay. Rule number one. Rule number one for all of you is rule number one for all of you is that nobody will going to ask for attendance during the session. Nobody will gonna ask for the attendance during the session. Okay? During the session. Because now we are going towards the advanced concept, guys. Okay, we are going to learn something new, something that will going to make a huge impact in our career. Okay, now I want you all of you to not to run towards attendance, not to run towards certificates. Okay, certificate is absolutely waste if you don't have that particular skill to prove. Are you guys getting this? Are you guys getting this? If you don't have a particular skill and you're showcasing a certificate that says that you do have that, it is absolutely waste. In today's scenario, skill has been given more importance, more weightage as compared to any kind of certificates. Okay, so please know that if you are here for attendance, kindly ping after 7 o'clock, because this is a 1 hour boot camp, right? We are going to start from 6, then we are going to end at 7, right? And after 7, I'm going to share your attendance link, right? If you are here for the attendance only, kindly ping after 7 o'clock. During the session, please, it's a request, kindly don't put any kind of message about attendance, so on and so forth. Okay, we are going to go in a great form in this session. And second rule is that it's regarding the certificate only, that if you want the certificate for this boot camp, there are certain rules that you need to follow, right? If you're following DevTown for a longer period of time, I hope that you guys know what are those rules. Do you guys know what are those rules? Yes or no? Come on, tell me. In order to get a certificate for this boot camp, what will be the rules? If you're following DevTown for a longer period of time, you guys definitely know. Anyone else? Come on. Okay, so the rule is that in order to get the certificate for this entire boot camp, you will be having 7 days attendance. Yes, 7 days attendance. That means each day we are going to take the attendance, and you have to have 100% attendance, right? So that means for the 7 days, I will be sharing you a form, an attendance form, and you have to mark your attendance accordingly. If you miss any day, I believe that it will going to impact on your certificate getting, right? Although certificate is that not that much important, but still, if you are over the certificates, this is your first rule. Second rule is that even though if you have all days attendance, third rule is that you have to submit a project. In the end of every bootcamp, we have a scenario that in the end of every bootcamp, we give some projects to student, right? Now you have to submit that project. You have to submit that project. We are going to look onto that. We are going to process it out, and then only if these two are if these two rules are eligible for you, we are going to provide you your certificate. Is this clear? Is this clear, guys? Yes or no? Do we need software for practical during the session? I'll let you know. I'll let you know what a software you will going to need. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, we are going to start from very basic, very raw. Is this clear? Is this clear? Perfect. I saw a comment who says that I am going to give my 100%. Definitely. Okay. Cool. Perfect. So these are some of the rules that you guys need to follow. First of all, don't ask for attendance during the session. And even though if you want that certificate, so there are two rules. First of all, you're going to have the all 7 days attendance, and then you will going to have to submit a project. Is this rule clear to all of you? Yes or no? Don't worry if you don't have any idea about ML. We are going to start from scratch. Don't worry about that. Okay. Any prerequisite for this? Yes, there is one prerequisite that you have to attend this entire session and you have to bear the 1 hour. That's the only prerequisite. Don't worry about programming language. Don't worry about ML. We are here to sort that out. Okay? Is that clear? Is that clear? Awesome. Now, first of all, let me give you my introduction. Who am I? Who is your instructor? Right? Then we are going to start with our today's session. So my name is Sahil Rahman. I'm a software engineer and a lead data science instructor. If you want to look on to what are the things that I have done, so on and so forth, you can check out on LinkedIn. So let me provide my LinkedIn ID over here as well. So you guys can check me on LinkedIn. So let me write it over here. LinkedIn. Okay, so this is my LinkedIn. If you guys want to check this out, you can check this up. If you want to connect with me over LinkedIn, you can do that as well. Okay. Okay. Shall we start? Shall we start? Yes or no? Come on. Shall we start? Yes or no? Come on, tell me, guys. Perfect. So now, since this is a boot camp that we're going to target the general audience, we are going to start from the basic. We are going towards the advanced concept. Okay. Now, what we are going to do and how we are going to learn during this entire 7 days, what is the roadmap to do so? Okay. So from day one till day three, we are going to learn about Python. The reason being is that machine learning is a piece of cake. Okay, machine learning in Python, if you're doing machine learning with Python, it's just a piece of cake. However, to operate machine learning, you at least know how to do that, right? So we are going to consume our 3 days or our 3 lectures to understand the Python programming languages. Okay. Now, on day 4 to day 5, let me write over here, day 4 to day 5, we are going to understand about machine learning. We are going to explore machine learning, and in this period we are going to explore one of the machine learning model as well, right? Or sorry, one of the machine learning algorithm as well. Okay, we are going to start with a very basic machine learning algorithm. And on day 6, so this day 6 is very, very important because this is a day that you guys are all waiting for. On day 6, we are going to deploy our model. We are going to learn about Flask. We are going to learn about how to deploy the model at free of cost, guys. You don't have to pay a single penny for this. Okay, you don't have to pay a single penny. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a website. Okay, if your screen is not clear, kindly upgrade your or change your screen resolution to 720p or higher pixel. Okay, and I believe that my voice is audible to you and you guys can see the screen. Yes or no? Kindly give me a confirmation, please. Kindly give me a confirmation, please. Am I audible? Is the screen clear? Okay, perfect. Right. Now, the thing is that why exactly we're focusing on deployment? What exactly is deployment? There are many students over here who has joined the bootcamp, but they hardly know what exactly is this deployment. Deployment means that suppose you have created a website. Okay, you have created a well beautiful website and you want to show this to the world, right? But the problem is that this website runs on your system. This website runs on your system, right? And if someone wants to access, how they are going to access, right? They cannot access. Let's suppose you have created this website on your system and the URL stands to be localhost. Let's say it is running on 8000 port, right? But if someone other try to access the same URL, do you think it will going to work out for them as well? If I have created this website and my website on my system is running on this URL, and if I give this URL to anyone else, do you think it will going to work out for them as well? Come on, guys. Let me see the smarter people over here. Come on. No, of course not, guys. Exactly. So this will not going to work out because this is the local URL that has been assigned to me, right? I have to go to global. I have to go to global. Then only the other person can easily access that, right? Now, what happened in order to do so, you have to buy some domains, right? Over here, you can see if I want to access this website, right? Even though you can access that as well, you have this jamboard.google.com and so on and so forth, right? So what happened is today in this entire session, we are going to understand how you can take your website, how you can create a first of all, how you can create a website. Okay, our major focus will be on the backend side rather than on front end side. I'm not going to discuss about HTML, CS, and so on and so forth because that will going to consume a lot time. Our major focus will be on backend. Okay, because Python is a backend language, we use Python for the backend, and Flask is one of the web framework. Okay, one of the web framework means by the which you can create websites. Okay, by the which you can create websites, right? So in this session we are going to understand how to create a website, how to link this website with our machine learning model. We are going to create a machine learning model, and then we are going to understand how to link with this machine learning model. Because what happens is whenever you are into machine learning field or whenever you're into coding field, let's say you are coding something, right? Now you went to an interview, and if suppose interviewer asked me, have you done any project? You say yes, I did. And you gave him your GitHub link. You say that this is my GitHub link. Now see, do you think that interviewer will going to go through your codes, your n number of lines of code? Will that a feasible case? Do you think that? Do you think that? Even though if you are an interviewer and I am coming up to you and telling you that, okay, this is my project, now this is 1,000 lines of code, now read and understand. Exactly, interview will not going to do that, right? So the best thing is that you are having a code perfectly fine, but what you do is you create a GUI of that piece of code. You create a GUI of a project, because GUI means graphic user interface. Okay, GUI stands for the graphic user interface. Okay, you create a GUI could be anything. It could be a website, it could be a mobile development, it could be your, let's say, desktop application or anything, right? So GUI always tends to be more attractive, right? For an example, uh, if I don't share my screen and if I speak and speak and speak and speak without sharing anything, without showing you anything on the screen, do you think you guys will getting a better understanding about that? Obviously no, right? You will not going to get. right? But if I'm explaining you with the GUI or the graphics, or you can, if you can, with the visuals, right, it will going to help you out to remember for a longer period of time, because you have seen that, right? Even though, let's suppose you have seen a movie 10 years ago, even though if I now ask you about that movie, you guys will able to answer me what exactly happened during that period of time, and so forth. Okay, right? So visuals is very important. So what happened is, we are going to show the visual to our interviewer. Now see, this is a website that I have created. Now the interviewer will going to give more interest, because they can easily operate that website. They don't have to read down any of the codes, and they can see the working easily. That's why deployment is very, very important, right? Now the second part is, when we call about deployment, it states that how exactly it will going to happen. Do we need to understand different stuff, or it will going to cost us some money, because we are deploying something on a server, and on another server, right? If your screen is not clear, kindly change your resolution to the higher resolution. Okay, okay, is this clear? Perfect. Now, what happened is that whenever we talk about deployment, the first thing that strikes up, that how exactly this will going to help us, because do we have to pay something for the deployment purpose? If someone is accessing our website, but that website is onto some servers, right? Do I have to pay something for that? In this entire session, we are going to deploy our model, and believe me, you guys don't have to pay a single penny for the deployment purpose. Okay, it will be absolutely free, and so on and so forth. You guys can go ahead and deploy multiple application as well. Is this clear? Is this clear, everyone? Yes or no? Okay, perfect. Those who are facing some issue regarding the video resolution, kindly change your resolution while going to the setting option to the highest setting. Okay, is this clear? Perfect. Now this is the agenda. This is how we are going to go towards the entire session. And on day 7, on the day 7, I will be giving you a project. I will be giving you a project, right? In this day till day 6, I'm going to explain you how exactly things work, how you have to go on and so on and so forth. On day 7th, we are going to discuss about a project that I'm going to give you, and you will be getting a week time to submit this project. Okay, and we have already seen that the project is important for your attendance. Is this clear? Is the agenda for the upcoming days is clear to all of you? Yes or no? Come on, tell me. Is this clear? Perfect. So shall we start with our day 1? Shall we start with our day 1 topic? Yes or no? Come on, guys. Perfect. So let's start with day 1. That is your Python. Let's start with your day 1. We are going to consume 3 days over this topic, Python. Now, if I ask you a very general question, what do you think Python is? What do you think Python is? Give me the answer. Doesn't matter whether it's wrong, whether it's right, doesn't matter. Give me the answer. What do you think? What is your definition of this word Python? Come on. Yeah, is it fine? It will be absolutely fine if you're watching this for bootcamp session for from different no you are email or so and so forth, or account. It's perfectly fine. Okay, people are saying it's a programming language. Some are saying Python is a snake. Some are saying general purpose language, so on and so forth. Perfect, guys. You guys know about this. Okay. So now, in a very precise term, if I have to explain you what is Python, I would say that Python is an interpreted, Python is an interpreted high level programming language. Python is an interpreted high level programming language. This is the best ever definition that you can give to anyone. You can also go with the general purpose language, OOPS concept and all that. But Python is an interpreted. There are 3 things over here, guys. One is your interpreted, another is your high level, and another is your programming language. These are the three aspects that you guys need to know. One is the word is interpreted, second is your high level, third is your programming language. Apart from this, you can define Python with different other definitions, such as general purpose language, such as dynamically typed language as well, language that follows the OOPS concept, so on and so forth, right? Now, before understanding about Python, we have to understand about the term programming. We have to understand about the term program, because this is the term that differentiate Python from being a snake and to become a programming language. Is this clear? Is this clear? This question is coming to your SPPU exam, so all the best for this one. Okay. Now let's understand what exactly is this programming language. What exactly, someone asked us that what is a programming language and how we are going to explain them, right? Let's take an example. Let's say we are having a human. We're talking about human, guys. We are talking about human. Okay. Let's suppose this is a human, and again this is also a human. So let's say this human is A and this human is B, right? Now, what happened is that in order to communicate with each other, this is also human, this is also human, right? In order to communicate with each other, we have to have a medium. We have to declare a medium, right? Are you guys getting this? We have to have a medium in between. How exactly we are communicating? So we are communicating with the help of a language. We are communicating with the help of a language, right? Suppose I am explaining you this concept. I am communicating to you. Okay. I am communicating to you. If you don't understand me, you cannot understand what exactly I'm trying to speak, right? If you don't understand the language that I am speaking, it will be very difficult for you to understand this. Yes or no? Let's suppose I am speaking German and you guys don't know about German. So it will be very difficult for you to understand what exactly I'm trying to explain, what exactly I'm speaking, right? So a language is a medium. Okay, is a language is a medium that helps us to communicate with each other. That helps us to communicate with each other. Similarly, in the real life, we call this as a language where a human and human communicates. Same scenario if we're going to take up, let's suppose this is our human, this is our human, and this is our computer. This is a computer or machine, right? So now in order to communicate with the computer or the computer who has to communicate with the human, we need a language as well, and that language is known as a programming language. That language is known as a programming language. Programming language is also a way of communication that acts between a human and a computer. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Okay, when we say Python is a programming language, this is what we need. It's a way of communication with the help of which we communicate with the machine and machine communicate with us. Clear? Now, when we talk about language, if you see, if you take a real world scenario, in a real world, we're going to find out that we have multiple languages. Do we have only one language in this entire world or entire universe? Do we have only one language? Yes or no? Do we have only one language or multiple language? Come on, guys. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Do we have a single language or we have a multiple language in this entire universe? We have a multiple languages. We have a multiple languages. We have English, we have Hindi, we have German, we have Japanese, we have Spanish, and the list will going to go on and on and on. Now see, we have multiple languages, but if their sole purpose is absolutely same. Their sole purpose is absolutely same, and that is to that helps the human to communicate with each other, right? Similarly, when we call this as a programming language, we have multiple programming language in hand. Can you guys name some? Can you guys name some programming languages? Can you guys help me to name some programming languages? Anyone? Come on. Come on, come on, come on, guys. Java, perfect. We have Java. We have C, we have C++. Anyone else? Python, how we can forget about Python? Anyone else apart from this? PHP, okay. We have JS, that is a JavaScript. You have Ruby, you have Rust, you have Go, and the list will going to go on. And you have Julia as well, right? And the list will going to go on and on and on. Okay, so now these all are the programming languages, and their sole purpose is to help a human and a machine to communicate with each other, right? Generally people ask that which is the better programming languages. You must have heard about this question, which is the better programming languages, and most of the time people compares two or three programming languages. Yes or no? Yes or no? Come on guys, have you guys heard about this scenario when people compares two or three programming languages, right, to understand which is better and so on and so forth? Now see this, none of the programming language is lesser to each other. You cannot compare any of the two programming languages. It's totally based on the scenario in which you have to use it. Like we cannot say that English is good and Hindi is bad. We cannot say Hindi is good and German is bad. They all have a different aspect. They all are best at their own level, right? If I'm talking to a person who only understand English, right, in that case using Hindi, German, Spanish will not going to work out. So I cannot say that no, English is better. I cannot say that. I cannot conclude this, right? For an example, if I'm talking to an Indian guy or North Indian guy, right, the best language he or she knows will be Hindi. So I cannot say that Hindi is better, Hindi is best than all other language, right? The sole purpose is that each language is best at their domain. The scenario or the situation defines which language you guys have to use, right? And the similar concept has been applied to the programming language as well. You cannot say Python is not better, C is better than Python, or C++ is better than Python. No, you cannot say that. You should be having a situation to consider. For an example, if I want to create a, let's say, desktop application, in that case I can say that you can go ahead with Java, you can go ahead with C, but don't go with Python because Python is slow. But that doesn't mean that Python is bad, right? If I talk about data science, in data science Python and Julia will going to take the topmost priority as compared to Java and C. Then we cannot say that C and Java is bad, right? So the scenario or the situation defines that which language to use and which language to avoid. Is this clear? Is this clear, guys? Okay, exactly. The learning situation, the scenarios, or the problem statement defines that which approach you have to follow. Clear? Everyone? Come on, come on, come on. Give me some enthusiasm. Come on, guys. Tell me. Is this clear? Perfect. Now, this is about the programming language. This is about the programming language when we say we are talking about the programming language, right? The next part is your interpreted. Your interpreted. What exactly is this interpreted? If someone asks me how you define that Python is an interpreted language, what exactly does it mean? What can I say? Most of the people say because it uses an interpreter. What exactly is this interpreter? Let's understand this as well. Let's suppose we are having a human. Let's suppose this human is from, let's say Japan. And in the meantime, kindly tell me what languages people speak in Japan. Come on, guys. Let's see who will going to answer this. And the second person is from, let's say, Spain. Okay. So we have two people. One is from Japan. Another person is from Spain. Okay. Exactly. So the people who are living in Japan, they speak Japanese, and the people who are living in Spain, they speak Spanish, right? So what happens, once upon a time there were two people, one from Japan and another from Spain, right? Now they both want to expand their business. Okay, they both want to expand their business. Japanese person say that, hey, I want to expand my business on Spain, whereas Spain person say that I want to expand my business on Japan. Now, the thing is that one day they decided to meet with each other to fix out some deals and all that, right? Now, what happened is Japanese people told him Japanese people told him, because he Japanese doesn't know about Spanish, and Spanish doesn't know about this Japanese, right? So what they did is, Japanese says moshi moshi. Japanese, the Japanese guy told moshi moshi to Spanish person. Now the Spanish people said, "Oh, I don't know what exactly is this in Japanese, because I don't understand Japanese. It seems like this guy is abusing me." Right? In a similar way, when Spanish person reach out to Japanese person, he says, "Hola." Hola. Now again confusion arises. Again the confusion arises. What exactly are you talking about? So in this case, do you think it will be very easy for these two guys to communicate with each other if they don't know each other language? Is it will that be easy? Will that be easy? But will that be easy to communicate with each other if we don't know each other languages? Come on. Much difficult. Exactly, it will be very very difficult, right? One scenario is that this Japanese guy should know Spanish as well, this Spanish guy should know Japanese as well, then they can easily communicate with each other, right? But in order to do so, they have to learn the language, and you cannot say that all the people who are in Japan, they have to learn Spanish or vice versa. So what we do is, we take the same scenario and we bring up a person in between. We bring a third person in between, and this person name is translator. This person name is translator. Now this translator knows Japanese as well, and this translator knows Spanish as well. Okay. Now what happened is, whatsoever message Japanese person wants to convey to the Spanish people, what happened, it will going to first go through the translator. Now translator will going to translate this message into Spanish. Now when it is done, now it will this translator will going to convey this message to people who speak Spanish. Now in this case you can see that now it has become easy to communicate with each other. Yes or no? If you have a translator, is this clear? Yes or no? Yes or no? Right? So this is the same case that we can convey up, is that we are having human in one section, and in another section we are having a computer or a machine, right? In order to communicate with each other, they need to understand each other's languages. But we know that machine only works with a binary language. Binary means bi means two, that is your 0 and 1. Okay, so whatsoever you define, machine only understands 0 and 1. Machine only understands zeros and 1, and it will be very difficult for a human to write each message or give some instruction. Is this clear till here? Is it clear or not? Yes or no? Okay, we are going to jump toward coding part as well, but in this scenario you at least need to have a theoretical knowledge as well, guys. Okay, there are many students who don't know about programming languages, interpreted languages, so that's why we are going to emphasize more on the theoretical in the first day. From the next day onwards, we are going to talk about some coding and all that, right? Will that be clear? Will that be clear? Okay. Now if suppose you want a human wants to instruct a computer that, hey, kindly open my system, right? Now they cannot directly say that. Okay, they cannot use English language and say that, okay, kindly open that, because computer or machine will not going to able to understand. The reason being is that computer only understands 0 and 1, so the human has to give an instruction in this format. Let's suppose in this format, right? Now you can see this is very difficult for a human to learn this. In this case, this is very difficult for a human to interpret or learn how exactly machine speaks and all that, right? That's why we bring up a translator, so that what we're going to happen, that human will going to speak on its own language, and the translator will going to translate that language into the machine code or the machine languages so that machine can easily understand it. Is this clear? Yes or no? Is this clear? Yes or no? In this case, the translator is your interpreter and your compiler. In this case, your translator is your interpreter and your compiler. And within these two, Python takes the translator as interpreter. Python takes the translator as interpreter. That's why we call Python as an interpreted language, because it uses interpreter as a translator. In the different scenarios, C programming languages takes the translator as your compiler. Okay, C is your compiled language. C is your compiled language. Python is your interpreted language. Okay, is this clear? Python has a different version. Okay, one of the version is just C Python, in which the Python can be, the translator can be changed to compiler as well. Okay, but by default it uses the interpreter. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Perfect. So this session will be totally based on the theoretical concept to make you understand about what is Python, how is Python useful, and what Python is capable of. The concept that we are going to use, we are going to explore it afterwards, like tomorrow or something, right? Okay. Now the question arises is, that okay, we have two translator, one is your interpreter, another is your compiler, but what exactly is the difference between these two? What exactly is the difference between the interpreter and compiler? Right, the difference between interpreter and compiler is interpreter checks the code line wise, and then it will going to convert it to machine code. However, compiler will going to take the entire code at once and compile it into machine code. For an example, if you have written a code, let's say you have written one line of code, two line of code, three line of code, and four line of code. Okay, so you have four lines of code that you have written, right? How exactly compiler sees it? That compiler will going to take entire piece of code and will going to convert it into machine code, right? But this is not the case in the case of interpreter. Interpreter will going to check the code line by line. It will first going to check the first line of code, then it will going to convert the first line into the machine code, like in 0 1 and so on and so forth. Then it will going to come up and check the second line of code, and then it will going to convert it into the machine code, and that's how it will going to follow. So if I ask you which among the two do you think is faster, will it be a compiler who takes the entire code at once and convert it directly into the machine code, or it will be an interpreter who first check the code line by line, then convert it into machine code and again do the same thing? Compiler is fast. Exactly, compiler will be fast, right? So whenever we compare on internet, you can find out various way. If you write that Python versus C programming language, or what is the big difference between these two, the most and the major difference between these two you will going to find out is that Python uses interpreter, that's why it is slow, as compared to the C, who uses compiler, and it is fast. Is this clear? Is this clear? And these are all the interview question, guys. Whenever you go on to the interview, they will going to ask you, first define Python. What do you mean by interpreted language? What is the difference between interpreter and compiler? Now tell me which is faster, compiler and or interpreter, and why it is faster. Okay. Another question again comes up, that why Python is called as slow, right? What is the reason behind this? Okay. Is this clear? Is this clear? Are this question clear to all of you? Yes or no? Come on, guys. Give me a confirmation, please. We are going to start the coding from tomorrow. Today, it's all about the basics. Today is all about the basics. How exactly the Python has found, what is the backend story of Python. Because you guys have already followed our boot camps from so long, right? You guys already know how to use the variables, how to use loops and all that, right? So in these upcoming 2 days, we are going to fasten up the belt. We are going to start with those concepts, but these are some concepts that you that we haven't covered so far, and even though you guys, many of you guys might not know what is the difference between these two and some of the theoretical knowledge. Okay, okay. Shall we continue? Yes or no? Shall we continue? Yes or no? Kindly give me a confirmation, please. Perfect. Now let's understand, and there's a lot of things that we can discuss about Python, but during due to the time shortage, this is all about that you need to know that Python is an interpreted high-level programming languages. Okay. Apart from that, Python also supports OOPS concept. Python is an open source as well. That means it is free to use and it is source code should is available, so you can even add your contribution to that as well, right? Now let's understand about what is the backend story of Python, how exactly Python has been created. Okay, so now what happened is we are talking about, I'm going to take you back to like late 90s. Okay, so during that time there was a guy whose name is Guido van Rossum. Okay, his name was Guido van Rossum. This is a guy, this is an engineer guy itself. He used to do programming, he used to work in a firm where he got some task to create something with the help of programming language. So at that time he uses a programming languages known as ABC programming language. Always remember this thing because this is theoretical and this could be asked in interview as well. Okay, okay. So now he was working on a language ABC programming language. Okay, he was working on a language ABC programming language, and he found out that ABC is very much easy to understand. When we say easy to understand, that means that user can interact with those programming languages. Okay, it is a high level programming language that a user can do that. However, ABC programming language was having, you know let's say ABC programming language was having a lot of cons. ABC programming languages was having a lot of cons. Okay, so that's why what happened is Guido van Rossum decided that one day I am going to create another programming languages. Okay, I'm going to create another programming language which would be better than the ABC. So whatsoever cons we have in the ABC, we are going to remove those cons, and I am going to introduce an a better programming language. Okay, so what happened that during one winter break, where all of his colleague went to celebrate the Christmas and all that, right? So what happened is Guido and Rusam decided that I have some break, right? I have got some break, so why not to start with my side project? Why not to start with my new programming language, a side project? So what happened is he started working on a newly programming language. He started working on a newly programming language, and what happened is that he tried his best to create this programming language in such a manner that the user can easily interact with this, and he has tried to remove all the cons of ABC programming language. So he has tried the implementation on 1989, December 1989. Let me write over here. December 1989, the implementation of the Python programming language has begun. Okay, now it took him approximately 2 years to complete a programming language, to create a programming language. Now when he was done by creating this programming language, so he was very curious to name this programming language. What name should I give to him? He want to name the programming language very subtle, very interesting, very unique, right? So what happened that during the late 1970s there used to be a BBC comedy show. Likewise that today we have a lot of shows. Yes or no? Today we have different comedy shows, such as we have Friends, we have different other shows. During that time as well, so BBC, let me write over here. During that time, there was a comedy show named as Monty Python's Flying Circus. Monty Python's Flying Circus. So it was a BBC comedy series that used to air during 1970s. So Guido and Rasam really liked this show. It was very unique, very very soul soothing. So from that title of the series, he took out the name Python. He took out the name Python and he named its programming language as Python. So this is the story how Python came into action. It wasn't a snake on which this series, on which this programming language has got its name, but it was a series. It was a BBC comedy series, Monty's Python Flying Circus, through which Python got its name. Right now, Python is totally based on ABC programming language. That means you can say that ABC programming language is the predecessor of Python. ABC programming language is totally the predecessor of Python. That means on base of ABC, Python has been created. However, Python has been written on C language. This is very interesting and very confusing at the same time. People get confused that is it ABC on which Python has been written or C? What exactly is the difference between these two? You need to understand that Python is based on ABC programming language, right? ABC is the predecessor of Python, right? However, Python is written in C language. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Is this clear, everyone? Yes or no? Okay. Okay. So this was the backend story, how exactly Python came into action. But what happened is that when Python has released during the late 90s, it wasn't that much famous. It wasn't that much famous like it is right now. Now, if you see anywhere, you will going to hear Python. Okay, someone is doing data science, you will going to hear Python from them. Someone who is doing web development, you will going to hear Python from them. Someone who is exploring AI, you will going to hear Python from them, right? But why not during those days? Why not during those days? The reason being is that we weren't having the access of internet widely during those days, right? During those days we weren't having there was a fight over having a personal computer. Then the internet came into action. Now when the internet came into action, we have certain applications, right? So during that days, this term, if you might know about this term, this is known as a data. This is very, 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 very important part of data science. This is very important part of data science. It is very important part of machine learning, AI, computer vision, deep learning, and so on and so forth. Right. So this data is very important. So during that time, since the internet was starting, right? Internet was not being widely accessed by many other people. So the data that is generated was not that humongous. Data that was generated was not that humongous. It was a minor data. So to process out data, somehow people managed to use certain frameworks and so on and so forth. But nowadays, if you look on, you will going to find out that each application is generating some form of a data, and that data is very, very important. Companies are using those data is the new oil. Okay, data is considered as a new oil. That means that with the help of data, companies are earning millions and millions, right? I'll just give you an example. Let's say you are having an application. Let's say you are using mobile phone and you are having a mobile application, and mobile application is known as WhatsApp. I believe everyone uses WhatsApp. Everyone uses WhatsApp. Come on, give me a cheer for WhatsApp. Anyone? If you're using WhatsApp, come on, guys. Perfect. So now what happened is, the scenario is, when the first time I tried to install WhatsApp, I have gone to the Play Store and I checked the total MB. That means total storage that it will going to take. It says that it is of 970 MB. That means this application is of 70 MB. Right now, this is a question for you guys. Play Store says that this application is of 70 MB. So does that mean that if I install this application on my mobile phone, will it only going to consume 70 MB only? Yes or no? Does it mean this? Yes or no? Will it only going to consider 70 MB only? Come on. No, exactly no. Now, currently, if you go on and check on your mobile phone and go on to the storage option, you will definitely going to find out that WhatsApp might be taking like 1 GB of your storage or 500 GB of storage. Yes or no? Yes or no? Come on, come on. Right? So, like, how exactly it is happening? What exactly is happening? It takes the data as soon as you install WhatsApp. It creates a lot of folders in your storage, and these folders are dedicatedly being created to capture some form of data. The image you shared, let's suppose I'm having an image on my gallery. I'm having an image on my gallery. This image has been shot by my phone's camera. If I send this image to my friend, automatically a replica of this image has been created in a folder of WhatsApp. Have you guys have ever noticed this or not? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, so what happened is that each application that you are having, right, it generates data. It generates a lot of data, and with the help of this data only, companies are getting benefited. All the companies are getting benefited, right? So let's suppose you are using WhatsApp. Lot of your information is going to lot of your information is going to your Facebook headquarter. Based on those information, Facebook is processing out to create your application, to create a well application, a well-known application, and more interactive application. For an example, if you go on, let's go on to Play Store. Okay, let's go on to Play Store. This is our Play Store, and let's search for WhatsApp. Let's search for WhatsApp. Okay, now see, this is our WhatsApp, right? This is our WhatsApp. Now if you scroll a down bit, let me click on this first. Okay, so this is your WhatsApp, right? Now if you scroll a down bit over here you can see this part. See all, see details. This is the part only, right? Yeah, see details. So let's click on this part, see details. Now over here you can see data collected. Data collected, that means these all are the data that the WhatsApp collects from you, from your device, and send this to the organization, right? And now see, this is not data stealing. You cannot consider this as your data stealing. Data stealing is absolutely different than data collection. Okay, this is known as a data collection, not the data stealing. So kindly don't get confused between these two, right? We guys have different way, like we say that China steals our data, they steals our data, and so on and so forth. So data stealing is different thing, and data collection is different thing. Okay, so now see what all data it can take. So you, whenever you install WhatsApp, you give the access to this WhatsApp that hey, you can use my email address, you have the access to the phone numbers, even though you can go on and search for all the contacts that I'm having in my phone, right? And the app activity, how many times I switch on the WhatsApp, how many times I am consuming my time on WhatsApp application, so on and so forth. What all difficulties people are facing, and these data that has been collected will going to be taken by the company, and company will going to work on this. Are you guys getting this or not? Okay, and one more example, if I tell you, let's say you have purchased a new SIM card. Let's say you have purchased a newly SIM card, and you haven't given the number of the SIM card to anyone else. You haven't given this number to anyone else, but after some time, let's say after a week or after 2 weeks, you will going to see that you will be receiving random messages from the company. Kindly take our body lotions, kindly take our this and all this. The company will going to phone you and call you that are you interested in our taking the loans and all that. Have you guys noticed that? Have you guys noticed that? Yes or no? Have you guys have ever wondered that I haven't shared my number to this bank, I haven't have any account with that, but still they are trying to access me, they still try to send me message, they call me, hey, do you want some loan, do you want to have this, and so on and so forth. How exactly this thing is happening? Because at the time you are taking this SIM card, right, a certain data has been generated. right? Okay, this guy, this Aadhaar number of this guy, this is something, and so on and so forth. Now what happened? The company you are associated with or your SIM card is associated with, they will going to sell this data to another company or another organization. Okay, and this is something which is not rare. This is something that happens. Okay, this is something, it is related to your course. You need to understand about data, how exactly data works. Okay, are you guys getting this or not? Are you guys getting this or not? Yes or no? Okay. See, this topic is very, very important. Unless and until you know how exactly data works, you cannot understand machine learning, deep learning, and data science. Data is very important. The source of data is very important. Okay, so this how exactly data works in this entire real world. Okay, how data transfers from the backend. From if you are seeing a front end, how exactly it is going on. Okay, so understanding the data concept is very, very important for you guys, right? Company sells your data to another company who works on different scenarios, right? And this company has some targets. Let's say your the company from which you have explain, you have taken the SIM card, has given them 100 contacts, 100 numbers, 100 contacts number, right? Now what happens is the target of this company is to at least get some two out of this 100 contact, so that they can collab with each other, they can benefit that. They pay this company some certain amount, this company will going to give him certain data, and based on this data they will going to try to monetize their work. Okay, and this is a similar concept why Google services are free. If you have ever wondered that why Google don't charge us for using their services, why Facebook don't charge us to use WhatsApp or use Instagram, this is the case. This is the case because Google generates revenue by using the ads. They use the data for that. Whatsoever action you perform on the browser, on the Google browser, Google knows everything about this. Okay, you might have used one of the Google services. I hope that many of you might have used that, is known as incognito tabs. Anyone now, please be honest, you guys must have used incognito tabs somewhere. Yes or no? Right? And why do we use incognito tab? What exactly is the specification of this incognito tab? Now don't try to be too honest for this one. Okay, just give me a logical part that why do you prefer incognito rather than going on certain part. Privacy, exactly. You go on with the incognito for the private search. Okay, what you are searching, that's totally different. We are not going to talk about that one. Okay, yeah, so private search, right? Because we know that incognito will not going to trace our history, incognito will not going to trace our action, and we are going to put safe. We're absolutely safe. If someone asks our laptop or system, we are clean, right? But the what exactly is the point here? What exactly is the point here? Do you really think that if you switch on to your incognito tab, do you really think that if you switch on to your incognito tab, Google will not going to collect your data? Do you think that? I already told you, you don't need to have to be too honest. Okay. Yeah. So do you think that it still collects your data? Exactly. It still collects your data. The thing is, the approach it follows. It's a simple 5-minute topics. I'm going to tell you. It is a simple approach that they follows is that if you're using a normal tab, if you're using a normal tab, the user can see the history, so they can make up their own story. They can make up their own story that okay, if you're using the normal tab, Google is tracking our history and all that. Now what they have come out to be a different scenario. They introduce an incognito tab and they told them that we are going to collect this, but we are not going to show them. We are going to collect this, but we are not going to show them. And if something that is not visible, it doesn't mean that it is not there. Yes or no? If something that is not visible, it doesn't mean it is not there. It can be there, it cannot be there. Are you guys getting this? Right? If suppose this is a person over here, I can see him and I can tell him that this person is currently standing in this room. Now this person get invisible. He's still standing, but from my reference of point he's not there, so I'm considering him that he's not in the room. But that doesn't make any sense. He's still there, right? So this is how Google makes their revenue. Okay, the day Google will going to stop taking the data, the day Google will going to give you offers that now if you want to search something you have to take a premium plan. The same thing happens to YouTube Premium. If you have seen, if you're going to go to YouTube Premium, no ads will be shown up, certain new features. But if you have to stick with the free service, there are certain limitation. Are you guys getting this? Okay, so this is certain thing that I need to tell you, that this is how the worlds work behind. Okay, how the world takes the data and what they do with the data, this is something that is working behind. And nowadays as we are moving towards more and the more application has been created and uploaded on different platforms. That means that in the upcoming time the strength of the data and the rate the data is increasing are always going to go up. It will never going to fall off. It will never going to follow, because nowadays people are addicted with phones, people are addicted with internet. If they purchase some phone, they make sure they purchase the high end phones. And the applications, people are creating multiple application, and if a multiple application has been created, multiple data has been generated and humongous data has been generated. So this field, the data field, is very secure. No, I will not say it will be secure, but it will going to stand as more reliable in the upcoming time. Okay, and obviously to explain all of this concept to you, it doesn't mean that we are saying that Google is wrong and something. No, they're doing their job, that but this is certain thing that you need to understand how exactly the backend story of applications or things works out. Is this clear? And one more thing, that data stealing and data collection is absolutely different. I hope now you guys have an experience that what is your data and how data comes. Exactly, nothing is free. Exactly, nothing is free over this internet. How exactly data comes from and so on and so forth. I hope it is clear to all of you. Is it yes or no? I've already explained you that if they collect data, how they are going to generate money. They sell their data. First of all, they keep some data from themselves and they sell it. Nowadays, let me tell you, if you guys take tracks on news, you might have heard about that Netflix. Netflix has taken collaboration with Microsoft. Anyone heard about that? Netflix are taking collaboration with Microsoft. Anyone? Yes or no? Right? So what will going to happen in this collaboration? Microsoft will going to have an access. This is to all the Netflix data. How exactly Netflix takes its data and generates money? Now see this. This is only 1 minute topic that I'm going to touch. Everyone watches Netflix, most of you, right? How Netflix takes the data is Netflix take the entire data, that what is your watch time, what content the user is emphasizing on watching, which character of which which actor most of the people prefer watching the movie, or what kind of movie they want to prefer, right? Netflix prepare a data set for all this conclusion, and they sell these data to the filmmakers. They sell this data to the filmmakers, so that filmmakers get an idea that okay, the people wants to see this genre's movie. The people are more no more concerned to watch the comedy movie rather than thriller movie, and so on and so forth, right? This is how Netflix generate their revenue. This is one part of their system. Okay, this is how you can use data to generate revenue and make profit and make money. Is this clear to everyone? Kindly give me a confirmation if you find this topic really interactive and really interesting. I hope you guys have learned something from this. Yes or no? Okay, perfect. And again, the data is very important for machine learning, data science, and other domain as well. Okay, so this is the entire wrap of the day one, that how exactly Python works and how you can use this data. Right now, if you already have a data, but this is a raw data, that means it is a filthiest data. You cannot use this filthiest data to draw a conclusion. Okay, you have to perform some processing then only you can take the information from those data and you can do that. So with the help of Python programming language, you can do this entire process. That's why Python is important in the field of data science. Python is important in the field of machine learning, data analysis, deep learning, and so on and so forth. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to start with the coding part of different concepts. We are going to talk about data types. We are going to talk about variables. We are going to look onto the conditional statements and some loops and some of the major concept that is very important for our deployment part. Okay, is this clear? Is this clear? Okay, perfect. So the time that you guys are waiting for is your attendance. So here you go. This is your attendance for day one. Kindly don't forget to mark your attendance, because you know the rule number 2 states that you need to have 100% attendance. Here you go. Okay, I feel the entire session is interactive to you and you guys found out very interesting. Let's start with it. If you guys have any question, any confusion, any doubt, you can ask. Please ask. If you have any doubt, please ask. Come on, guys. Any doubt related to anything, come on. If you guys have any doubt related to the session or any doubt related to the career or some programmings and all that, you guys can ask. Come on. You don't need to download anything. Don't worry. You don't need to download anything. Whenever you want to download, I am going to tell you that, right? So don't worry. You don't need to download anything. Okay. Come on. Come on, guys. Tell me if you have any doubt. Please ask. See, Django and Flask both are better. Only thing is the situation that defines you have to go with Flask or you have to go with Django. If you're working in a heavy application or a big application, then I would prefer you to go with Django. If you want to have a 5-minute deployment or if your purpose is to deploy the model quickly, right? Or you have to create something very quickly, then you can go with Flask. Okay. What is the common difference between machine learning and data science? Now, see, data science is a vast field and machine learning is a sub part of data science. Data science contains machine learning, deep learning, AI, and everything. Whereas machine learning is a subset of data science. This is only just a part. Okay. Any other question? Any other question? How to start learning coding, any roadmap in that? You can learn, you can start with coding. I would suggest you to go on to some playlist on YouTube, check out that to, if you know Hindi, I would suggest you Code with Harry. If you know English, you can go and check out the Telescope. Okay, they have the very basic format. Okay, you can start, you can go ahead and learn programming from there. Okay, is this clear? Any more doubts? What is the language used in blockchain? So for blockchain, you can either go with C++ or there's a Solidity as well. So C++ is the language that you need to know for the blockchain. Okay. See, what is VPN? VPN is your virtual private network. It helps you out to jump your IP, but it is not secure. Okay, many people think that with the help of VPN nobody can track us. That's a different story. If in the upcoming time, if I am going to take a cyber security session, I'm going to explain you that. But VPN is something that helps you out to jump your IP from one place to another. Okay. Why is Python preferable for data science? The reason being is Python has a huge libraries and it has a strong community as compared to other languages, right? So the deadly focus of Python is data science only because there are certain modules and Python is used for the scientific purpose, right? So that's why we use Python. Other than you can use Java as well. Okay, you can use C, Java as well, but you will not going to find out much of the libraries for these two and not the contents and not the communities. So that's why we prefer Python, because it has a huge community and a lot of libraries as well. Anyone else? So what are things to become a business analyst? So see, business analyst is also a data analyst. Your focus, your approach decides whether you're a business analyst or finance analyst and so on and so forth, right? You should know about data analyst. and then have some knowledge of business as well. That's a no. I can only tell you about in a very short form part. But in the upcoming time, whenever we are going to do the data analyst session, I'm going to explain you that in brief. Okay. Anyone else? Why to choose Python over R? See, R is more powerful than Python, but R is limited. Okay, R is very limited to data analysis and data visualization, whereas Python, you cannot create a website with R. However, you can go with Python. So that's why, even though R is more powerful than Python, we prefer Python because it has a huge libraries support and huge community support, and you can use Python to create multiple applications, whereas you cannot go ahead with R. Is it necessary to learn DSA to become a data science or web developer? See, for web developer, DSA is important, data science it is important, but not that much important. How you create a software engine, right? If you create a software, data DSA is very very important for you. Okay. For data science, you can check out Krish Nayak, channel. He has a wonderful explanation for all the concepts and all that. If you want to learn data science from scratch. Any doubts? Any doubts? Come on. Deep learning is a more advanced version of machine learning. If you have heard about Tesla cars, right? Tesla cars uses deep learning. Okay, Tesla cars uses deep learning to do so. Okay. Anyone else? We have already explained what exactly this deployment means. Deployment means to host your website or to put your website live into action so that anyone, doesn't matter wherever they sit in this entire world, they can easily access your project and so on and so forth. Right? Okay. Who is Python developer? Those people who works in Python, those people who works with different framework of Python and solve the concept using Python programming languages. Okay. Okay. Do full stack engineer earns more than data scientist? See, on an average, data scientist has given more priority than a full stack. However, you can find out the exceptionals. Okay, there's always exceptions. I cannot, if I say that data science earns more than full stack, you will going to find a guy who is working in full stack and might be earning more than data science, right? So you will going to find exception, but however, data science has been given more priority to full stack. Okay. Perfect. So in that case, if this is clear, shall we wrap this session for today? Yes or no? If this is clear, shall we wrap the session for today? Yes or no? Kindly give me a confirmation, please. That's a suspense for you. That's a suspense that what will be the project in your day 7. Okay, I'm not going to tell you today. Perfect. Awesome. So thank you so much for joining in. From tomorrow, we're going to start and explore some new topics. Okay. And I hope that you guys will be having the same energy and enjoy yourself, enjoy your evening, and see you all soon and stay learning. And any other question? Any other question? Uh, what are the tools used for ML development? We are going to use Flask, we are going to use scikit-learn, we are going to use NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib and Seaborn for the deployment. See, Python, having the knowledge of Python is very important because whenever you do the deployment part, right, we are going to use a framework, and that framework is being operated by a programming language. If you don't know about Python, you cannot operate Flask or Django. Okay. Okay, let me give the attendance link once more. Okay. Perfect. So that's a wrap of this session. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you so much. I hope you guys find this entire session interesting and exciting. Tomorrow, with the same energy, we are going to bring you the day 2 session. And with the series, we are going to learn something new for us, right? Till then, be safe. Have a great time. Enjoy your evening. See you all soon. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.